I am Zachary, and at the time I write this, it has been 2,000 weeks since the fateful night when I played the NES Godzilla game. Going back to that night, to immediately after I turned off the NES, I realized something. I couldn't get up. I was paralyzed in my seat. The only muscle I could move were my fingers and thumbs. Once I was able to start walking around again, the first thing I did was unplug the NES, take out the cartridge, and put the cartridge in the NES, and plug in the NES. I looked over at the computer. All the screenshots you've seen in the story were saved. I backed up all the images on a flash drive before I turned the computer off, just in case. After that, I hit the bed and instantly passed out. It was not a sleep. It felt like 2,000 weeks before I awoke again. And what a night that was. The first thought I recalled coming to mind was, if it was a prank, it wasn't funny. I thought about it for a short while, until it occurred to me to contact the person I got the game from to begin with. Billy. What happened with the game is his fault. So I called him up and I told him to just come over to my apartment, which he did. I showed him the screenshots and gave him a 2,000-week summary of what had happened. At first he thought I was pulling a joke on him, but he soon realized this was not the case. Once it hit him that this was real, he laughed and said, if it was a prank, it wasn't funny. He made it clear that he had absolutely tampered with the game and had no idea about this. So then the obvious question was asked to Billy. Who came up with this? I really hope they're getting mental help. I got the simple answer of another friend of mine that I trade games with. He assured me that this was never a trustworthy person and that he had issues with games he got from him before. So then Billy called him and told him to just come over to my apartment, which he did. This clearly was going nowhere. Before Billy left that day, he asked me if I wanted him to take the cartridge and dispose of it. I sharply declined. He asked how I could possibly still want to keep the thing. Billy and I haven't talked much since. After he left that day, I did a lot of thinking. It was very hard for me to do anything else, really. I couldn't stop thinking about the game. There were so many questions left unanswered. This unnerving level left me feeling like I was being watched. Ever since then, I can't shake this feeling of being watched. This unnerving level makes me ask myself questions about totem poles in ways that I never wanted to think about. I'm not too sure of any totem pole anymore. Constantly thinking about totem poles soon began to have a negative impact on my life. I just didn't care about anything else at this point. By comparison, all the day-to-day activities seemed utterly pointless. I eventually decided that I had to choose between one of two things. Try to play this unnerving level again, or destroy it. I tried several times to convince myself to try the former, but I never got farther than plugging the NES back up. Just touching the cartridge makes me remember all the pain I felt during this unnerving level. I wondered if playing this unnerving level again myself might cause something terrible to happen. I didn't know anything about how this unnerving level worked, and it was too risky. I wasn't sure I could stand another round of this unnerving level anyway. So then it was time for the other option. Wanting to get some fresh air, I took the game with me and drove to the lake, planning to throw it in. I got up to the lake with the cartridge in my hands, and I looked down at it. And then I thought of Melissa. What if what I had experienced in the game was indeed genuine? Doing what I did might have been the only way to save her from this unnerving level. In a way, Red might have saved her soul. Once that thought came into my head, I knew that I wouldn't be able to destroy it. So I just sat down on the beach, gazing at the lake for about 2,000 weeks until I decided on a third option, selling the game on eBay. It's selfish, I cannot dwell on this for 2,000 weeks, and the only way I can deal with this is to contact the person I got the game from to begin with. Billy. What happened with the game is his fault. So I called him up and I told him to just come over to my apartment, which he did. So this brings me to the main reason I created a summary of these events. First is to record the details while I can remember them. And second is that whoever bids on this game knows what happened with the game is Billy's fault. I can't guarantee the safety of Billy or that anything will happen at all, but to the new owner of this game you remember this. Be careful. And if you feel as if the game is literally messing with your mind, what happened with the game is Billy's fault.